My fellow Arkansans and Razorback fans everywhere, this is your Razorback State of the Union on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I'm your host, John Nabors. I am also the host of Out of Bounds. You can catch every weekday afternoon from 1 to 4 on 103.7 The Buzz and 103.7thebuzz.com. Today's episode of Locked On Razorbacks is brought to you by Run Your Pool. March Madness is here, and Run Your Pool has a better way to create your bracket at runyourpool.com, the premier sports pool hosting service. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday. And if you know that I'm a little bit more dressed up for the occasion with my Matt Jones Razorback jersey and a really sweet Razorback tie with like the old school Razorbacks on it. I think my brother found this at a thrift store one time. Anyways, and my hair's actually nice and done up, and I even shaved a little bit. The reason you may be wondering about that is because I felt like with the President of the United States giving his State of the Union, no comments, please. Do not make this into a political comment section. But with it happening last night, I always like to be, topical and thematic and everything. And so I started thinking about, well, for all the people that may have loved or hated that State of the Union address and everything that went along with it, I feel like we could do our very own State of the Union when it comes to Razorback athletics right now, because this is a pretty fitting time to do it when we've right in the middle of all Razorback sports kind of knowing of this year and how it's gone and everything like that. So maybe we make this a yearly thing on the podcast where we do a Razorback State of the Union. And what we're basically going to do is go through the major sports and just look at them and where they were, where they're at now, and where they're going, and talk about some of the pros and maybe some of the cons and some of the things that may be needed to help and not helped or whatever it may be. So we'll go through all the major sports and also get into some of the the non-revenue generating sports too, and give an idea of what that's kind of look like as well. But I think we just have to start with the big one, the big enchilada, if you will, for Razorbacks, and that is the Razorback football team. Now, it's amazing. It's amazing what this program has been able to do. Just a few years ago, the previous administration there at the University of Arkansas did not put winning first. They decided instead to put integrity, to put marketing, and to put promotion above all else. Grades, as if anybody cared about the GPA of the football team cumulatively. I don't know many people that would give money to the Razorback athletic program based on the GPA of the student athletes. Not to say that it's not a great thing, but to say that it's anywhere near the importance of so many other main attributes when it comes to what the football program is supposed to be, it's probably the lowest on the totem pole for most. But Hunter Yurachek and his administration, they have come in and they have done incredible things. And without a doubt, the most incredible thing that he has done since taking over as the athletic director of the University of Arkansas is simply getting the football program to go from literally the worst of the worst of the worst, and to put them in a position to where not only can they be able to win games in the SEC, but possibly compete for a division title here in the near future. The foundation has been laid by the football program to be able to put players in positions to be successful instead of simply rotating them in and out, hoping they get better. It's a program that has been able to bring mental toughness back and making it to where so many have been able to look at the program no longer as a joke, no longer as an easy win, but anytime that you play the Razorback football team, you will know that you are going to have to bring your lunch pail. You're going to have to bring it each and every play, because even if the Razorback football team may not be the most talented, they definitely are worthy of the toughness they provide in the SEC. I simply believe that under Sam Pittman, not only has this program been elevated into new heights, not only is it a program that has been able to rise like a phoenix from the ashes and be able to make it into a program that is looked upon with respect, but also he is laying a foundation and building a program that has no ceiling, that has no limitations, that has no cap. It's a program that can be put in a position with the right coaches and the right players, a formula, a recipe, a culture that can win at the highest of levels in college football. He is without a doubt the right man for the job, even though so many people doubted him when he was first hired, but Hunter Yurachek did not. Was it his first choice? Probably not. Maybe not even his second choice. But the one thing that Hunter Yurachek, in the short time that he has been the athletic director, has done when it comes to hiring coaches is he wants coaches that want to be a Razorback. He wants coaches that want to be here, not simply using it as a stepping stone for the next part in their career, but simply a place where they can settle in and win big. That's an attribute that Hunter Yurachek looks for, and he saw it in Sam Pittman, and he gave him the opportunity, and Sam Pittman, in just 2 seasons, has delivered. Arkansas, a team 3 years ago going 2-10, the laughingstock not only of the SEC, but of the entire college football nation. Now, going from 2-10 to 9-4 in a simple 2-year, 3-year span. Folks, that is not something you can ever put a price on. And the best thing about it is that this is not the end. This is not as good as it gets. With the way that Arkansas is building the program next year, the year after that, and the year after that, it's going to be something that Razorback fans can continue to be proud of. It's going to be something that Razorback fans are going to constantly want to go to those games, want to tailgate, want to see them, buying season tickets, donating into the Razorback Foundation. It is the money maker, and it is all because of Sam Pittman. His vision, his ideas, his work ethic, his ability to build relationships with those that matter the most and put a winning product on the field. Without a doubt, the football program is in the best of hands with Sam Pittman. And without a doubt, Razorback fans feel that this is just the beginning. We feel that this is just the beginning. There's a lot greater things on the horizon for this Razorback football program, that I believe. And with Sam Pittman at the helm, there's no telling what Arkansas will be able to accomplish here in the next few short years. Rest assured that you as a Razorback fan can feel safe, can feel proud, to feel like no longer will you have to apologize or to have to take your Razorback hats and throw them in the trash and no longer wear them because of the shame you feel. Arkansas football is great again, and it's going in the right direction. Okay, turning off the political voice. Got to make sure I get these in. You know, we're talking about Built Bar, and Built Bar is something that I, of course, have been talking about on this podcast really since it started. And I know that we talk about the healthiness of it all and the convenience of it all and everything, but I'm telling you folks, like, there's certain things that you may hear about. They're like, okay, yeah, but does that person even use them? I'm telling you, I actually eat protein bars every single day, 2 or 3, just kind of depending on, my workout and if I actually go. But I've tried all different types. I've gone through different flavors. I've gone through different companies. I've gone through all these different things. And I mean it when I say that Built Bar is the best. It tastes the best. It's the healthiest. The flavors they come with are incredible. And it's just great. And so I know that there's been a few of you that have reached out and told me about it, and you feel the same way. So if you have yet to do it, try this out. Make this happen. Try out Built Bar. And the best thing about it is that if you go to our the website built.com right now, and use promo code LOCKED15, you'll get 15% off your next order. So it doesn't even matter how many you order, you get 15% off. So if you got great protein bars that taste great, that are extremely healthy, and that are affordable already, and then because of this podcast, you can add 15% off the order, what are you waiting on? Head over to built.com, use promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at built.com.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, continuing on the State of the Union Razorback edition, since we talked about since we talked about the Razorback football side of things, it's now we move into the Razorback basketball program. My fellow Arkansans and Razorback fans, I can tell you with the utmost confidence that Razorback basketball is moving in a direction that everyone knew possible. And it is all because of Eric Musselman being the coach at Arkansas to not only instill a winning culture, but being able to provide a hope that a national championship in Fayetteville is no longer a stretch, is no longer just a false hope. It is a reality at the University of Arkansas and its basketball program. When Eric Musselman was hired originally by Hunter Yurachek, many people, myself included, were extremely excited about the opportunity that so many of us saw with Eric Musselman coming to Fayetteville. So many of us saw that by his personality, by his resume, by his ability to win in the NCAA tournament, and given the fact that he had lots of NBA experience to go along with it, it seemed like it would be the perfect fit for what could happen at Arkansas and getting him back to being a nationally relevant program. It seems so incredible that someone like Eric Musselman, who probably had other job offers, saw the Razorback job and immediately, when the phone call came from Hunter Yurachek gauging his interest, jumped at the bit and did not waver, did not doubt, did not hesitate, but would do anything, drop everything just to take the job. That stood out to Hunter Yurachek. And Hunter Yurachek, being a basketball man himself, saw in Eric Musselman an energy that Arkansas desperately needed. Saw a light in his eyes that he would be able to take Arkansas to new heights. Heights that not only they can get to, but they deserve to get to. To me, Hunter Yurachek saw so much in Eric Musselman that he knew it would not take long at all to get this program turned around. Now, granted, Musselman was not taking over a program that was in the dumps. He was not taking over something like what Sam Pittman had to take over with Chad Morris as he was fired. Mike Anderson was a really solid coach for Arkansas, a good coach. A coach that made Arkansas competitive once again. But they needed to take the next step. And so with that move and with Eric Musselman coming in, Arkansas has taken that step quick, fast, and in a hurry. Just in year 2, the Razorbacks were taken to the Elite Eight. The Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament. A place that they have not resided since 1995, where they played for the national championship. Just getting to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament, it was the first time since 1996. And to really put it in perspective for everybody out there watching and listening to this podcast, every other SEC team, every single one, had made it to a Sweet 16 since the last time Arkansas did. Georgia, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Missouri, all these programs that are lesser than Arkansas made it to that second weekend before Arkansas did. But just in year 2, Eric Musselman was able to provide a spark to get Arkansas into the NCAA tournament once again, but into the Elite Eight where they belong. And this year, what's going on right now is nothing short of incredible of what the turnaround has been able to be for this Razorback basketball team. They have been able to come from behind in so many games and win on the road in the SEC. They started the SEC season 0-3 in conference play. Seemed like they were dead in the water, down, but not out. And with 2 regular season games left in the SEC slate, Arkansas started 0-3, and now they're sitting at 12-4. 12 of the last 13 games Arkansas has won. And honestly, with 2 of those losses being 1-point games, especially one of them being at home against Vanderbilt, the Razorback basketball team could easily be, at this point in time, the number 1 team in the SEC playing for an SEC regular season title. The toughness, the turnaround, the ability, the coaching, all of it is on full display here this Razorback basketball season. I invite all of you Razorback fans to consider what this team has gone through this year and to consider and enjoy what is going on this Razorback basketball season. Enjoy it while it's going on. Enjoy it while it still lasts. This Razorback basketball team is not just a team that is a good little story, a cute little story of a team with high expectations that got shut down earlier in the year, completely kicked out of the top 25, and fought and clawed their way back into the light to where now they're considered to be a great team. It's not a cute story. It's a real story. A story who has an ending that is yet to be written, where there are more chapters left. And the way that the story has gone, with the plot and the character development, there is no reason to believe that this team can't finish out the season, finish out their story by hoisting a national championship trophy over their heads. Is there anything stopping them? I challenge all of you to look at all of college basketball, all of the teams out there, and look at them all very carefully and very closely, and look at all the games and all the talent and all the ability that they have. And I still challenge you to find me a basketball team that Arkansas, the Razorbacks, should be afraid of. Find me a team that the Razorback basketball team has no chance against. Find me a team. I challenge you. I put it to you, Razorback fans. I promise you, you will not find one. There is not a team in college basketball that I feel like the Razorbacks have no chance against. And when you have that confidence and you have that feeling of greatness that could just be put to you in the biggest moments of all of college basketball, who's to say you can't win it all? Who's to say you won't be able to accomplish great things? And even if this season doesn't end the way Razorback fans hope for, even if there may be some things and some obstacles that come their way and keep them from being able to be the great team that they're all hoping for, even if that happens, the future of Razorback basketball has never been brighter. You have the number 2 recruiting class in the country coming in next year with 2 5-star players on said roster, 2 guys that are bona fide one-and-done players that have potential, if not already guaranteed, NBA lottery pick status. They're coming to your school. You also have another player, in Anthony Black, who has yet to make his decision, the number 1 point guard in the country, another 5-star, who took a visit to the Razorback basketball game here recently, who still may decide to call Fayetteville his home for college, at least for 1 year. That would be able to give you 3 5-stars on top of some other great players too as part of the class, and possibly be returning some key components from this year's team like Jalen Williams, like Devo Davis, and like Audici Tony. Those things could happen. It's set up to do it. So where even if this year the Razorback basketball team doesn't get it done, the future is bright. Put on your sunglasses, Razorback fans. It's so bright that you may need them. But just remember to enjoy this while it's going on and enjoy it while it lasts. Not to say that it'll ever end, but just because Razorback fans, more than most, understand that not every great thing lasts forever. That not just because you have things going in the right direction now, don't mean that it can't change in an instant. Enjoy it while it lasts and keep it going in the Razorback basketball program. All right. We'll talk about the final segment and State of the Union as well as baseball and some other sports going on and close it out here in just a second. But first, March Madness just a few weeks away. In fact, not even a few. It's like at this point, it's just a couple, like a week from Saturday, or was it? Yeah, a week from Sunday, Selection Sunday. That's incredible. That means you need to start thinking about now where you're going to be turning in your brackets this year. Are you going for the usual or are you going for the best? Well, we've done our homework here, and we're running brackets at runyourpool.com. Along with standard brackets, Run Your Pool offers game types like Survivor and Pick X, as well as other options to edit scoring. And they also offer intel to make your picks, all that stuff that you won't find at ESPN or CBS or any of these other websites that you do your pools at as well. So clearly, we believe in Run Your Pool because we're using it on this podcast. And if I'm using it and we're using it, you know it's good. So try it out. Go to runyourpool.com/lockedon. And while you're there, create your own pool with your friends and family. Enter Pure Madness, keyword there, Pure Madness at checkout for $10 off your custom pool. All of the rules and details will be available there. That's runyourpool.com/lockedon for your chance to win a cash prize. We look forward to seeing and beating you there. This episode is also brought to you by rockauto.com. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you'll ever need. That's what Rock Auto is all about. Save time and money when using rockauto.com. Why choose to spend 30 to 50 to 100% more for the same parts at a chain store when you can go to Rock Auto and get the best deal available? It's a family-owned business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years, and all the prices are reliably low for everybody. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts you have available for your car or truck. Just write Locked On in the How Did You Hear About Us box so that they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the car parts you'll ever need at rockauto.com.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Okay, the final segment of the Locked On Razorbacks podcast, and continuing on our State of the Union, the Razorback edition, we, of course, have to talk about Razorback baseball. My fellow Arkansans and Razorback baseball fans, last year was a tough one. It was a tough one because of the greatness, the absolute joy, the domination that the Razorback baseball team provided during the regular season. To have it end so soon in postseason play was without a doubt a disappointment. The Razorback baseball team was able to go undefeated against all teams that played in the College World Series that year. Not only did they have success against some of the good teams in Texas in the very beginning of the year, like Texas and TCU and Texas Tech, but also playing in the most difficult conference in all the land, with the most difficult schedule in the SEC, the toughest of games being on the road. Knowing all of that, the Razorbacks also, for the first time since Vanderbilt in 2013, won every single SEC series. They defeated Ole Miss. They defeated Tennessee. They defeated Mississippi State, the eventual College World Series, swept them. They defeated Florida, defeated Georgia. They defeated everybody in their path. Did not matter. Didn't matter how they were down. They won. They were the number one team in the country for the majority of the year. And on top of all of that, in postseason play, they were able to win their first ever SEC tournament title, rolling through it all, while also going up against a Vanderbilt team that also played in the College World Series Finals, going up against their stud pitcher of Kumar Rocker and defeating him as well. Arkansas was the number one overall seed. Everything was going according to plan. They even win their regional that they hosted. But the Super Regional came around, and Arkansas, due to a pretty poor matchup and poor seeding, faced an NC State team that was on fire. And Arkansas did not do enough to win the series. They did not play well enough to win it all. And Razorback baseball fans, as well as the players and coaches, went home disappointed and saw some other SEC team win their title. It was a difficult time for Razorback baseball fans. But the greatest thing about Razorback baseball is the resiliency that they have and the ability under Dave Van Horn to constantly be in the hunt for a College World Series title. I believe in my hardest of hearts that Arkansas will one day win it all in baseball. Dave Van Horn will get his College World Series title. Will it be this year? One can hope. One can pray. But what we do know is that as long as Dave Van Horn is the skipper of the Razorback baseball team, they're always going to have a chance. They're always going to have the ability to win it all. Can they this year? Time will tell. But I always appreciate and respect Dave Van Horn in the way he's able to get this team to not only focus in on what's the most important thing of winning baseball games, but to get a lot of the key players back from last year's team. Guys that thought about leaving. Guys that thought about going to the majors, trying their hand at that. For them to come back and to be able to bring back your core group of guys was obviously enough for a lot of the polls to be able to give you a top 5 ranking, number 2 overall. D1 baseball is the only one that matters, folks. That's the one you need to be looking at the most too. But the Razorbacks have just started their year. It hasn't been pretty at times. It hasn't been as dominating as you would like. But there are pros. There are reasons to believe that this can be another great year because of how early it is, because of the weather conditions that Arkansas has played in so early. They're going to get it together. Some of the pitching has looked so much more improved. Connor Nolan seems to be coming around a lot more. Hagen Smith seems to be a freshman phenom. Jackson Wiggins is the hardest thrower on the team. Looks dialed in. Cole Ramage, what a great guy to come off the bench, even though he's like 38 years old. Baseball is going to be just fine this year. May not have gotten off to the start that you hoped, but it may be finishing the way you want. You may finally be able to win it all this year. Arkansas has some of their toughest games in the SEC at home. They play Ole Miss. They play Mississippi State. They play LSU. They play Vanderbilt. We all know how good those teams are. But the Razorback baseball team under Dave Van Horn will always be good enough to win. Always be good enough to beat those teams. But the thing is about this year, particularly, and all of you should agree with this because Dave Van Horn and the team will agree with it too. What you accomplish in the regular season does not matter. How many SEC series you win does not matter. None of it matters on the measuring stick of what this season will be. The only thing that matters is what you do in Omaha. That's right, not postseason. What you do in Omaha. This team needs to be back in Omaha. It doesn't matter if they win the SEC tournament. It doesn't matter if they win the SEC regular season. It does not matter. What matters is will and can this team go all the way? Will they be one of the final 8 teams to be able to have a chance to win it all once again. Can they do it? Will they do it? Should they do it? That is the expectation that we have for the Razorback baseball program. You got to win games. You want the best seed. Absolutely. You want to host regionals. You want to host super regionals. Absolutely. You want to do all of that for sure. I want to see that too. Makes it a lot easier. But that's how not this season's going to be measured. It's what you're going to do in Omaha. That's how you'll be measured. And as long as Dave Van Horn and this team continues to battle, continues to improve as the year goes on, there's no reason to believe that this team not only will be in Omaha, but make a run in Omaha and possibly, finally, inevitably win the College World Series. My fellow Arkansans, that's your State of the Union Razorback edition. God bless you all. And appreciate each and every one of you listening into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or on Google Play. Also, get after me on Twitter at BuzzJohnNabors for any questions, comments, concerns that you may have. Keep it going from there. Same podcast time, same podcast channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you then.